What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your main man, Booster Rails. I got a good one for you today. We're going to talk Hayabusa and motorcycle stands. Now, the Hayabusa is not a small bike by any means necessary. What? It comes in weighing at 582 pounds. It's about 29 inches wide, 86 inches long, and about 46 inches high. It has a wheelbase that's about 58 inches long, almost a 5-inch ground clearance, and it has a seat height of about 31.5 inches. Not small at all. When it comes to buying the perfect stands for your bike, you want to make sure that it's going to support the weight of your bike and it's going to serve the purpose of what you need those stands for. Some people want stands just to move their bike around the garage. Some want stands just to prop their bike up for the wintertime if they're storing it. And some want stands to do certain maintenance on their motorcycles. Now, what I didn't know before I purchased the stands for my 2024 Suzuki Hayabusa Anniversary Edition is that I just couldn't get any old stands off of Amazon or the cheapest ones that I found at a local store. I had to make sure that it was going to serve the purpose that I need. But did I do that? I can't confirm nor deny. And through some trial and some error, I found out that the ones that I bought on a whim weren't going to work for my bike, and we're going to go over that. I'm going to tell you exactly why they didn't work for the third generation Hayabusa. So if you got one, don't just get any of your stands for them because they're probably not going to work. Now, maybe one, but not both. Because with the third gen Hayabusa, there are going to be some components on that bike that's going to restrict to what type of stand you can use. And you also have to think about if your bike is lowered in the front and in the rear, you're going to have to think about if you have an extended swing arm and a couple of other things. And when it comes to stands, there are several different types of stands, like I said before, that serve many different purposes. So let's talk about them. First up, let's talk about the paddock stands. Now, these stands have like a L-shaped pad, and they're going to, for the rear of the bike, they're going to go up under the swing arm. And for the front of the bike, they're going to go up under the forks. Then you have what they call the front forklift stands. Like I said, these are typically for the front of the bike. Now, they have two rollers, and essentially what happens is the forks of the motorcycle are going to sit in between those two rollers to allow you to lift the bike up. Also, another stand for the front is what they call the front head lift stand. Now, this stand has a pin, and that pin is going to insert underneath the bottom of your lower triple tree, and that allows you to lift the bike up from the front, and then the wheel will typically be free to spin. So that's one of those front lifts that you could do maintenance on your front wheel with. And you also have a rear stand that works with swing arm spools. If you ever seen a bike and you wonder what these little knobs are, I guess, I don't want to call them knobs because I know they're swing arm spools, but for someone that doesn't know, they look like just little knobs out to the side of the rear swing arm, and then the actual stand has almost like a little V-shaped bracket or whatever that you actually roll those up under the spools, and you use the spools to actually lift the bike because they're connected to the swing arm, and they'll lift the bike right on up. But a good thing, like some of these companies out here, they actually create a hybrid version, specifically Pit Bull. So you may have a front forklift as well as the head lift all in one stand. So that's Pit Bull is one company. I think that their reputation is real big out here in the sport bike community, motorcycle community, period. But specifically the sport bike, because I think they make some amazing stands, some amazing qualities. I had some in the past. Unfortunately, when I sold one of my other bikes I had them with, I actually let the guy have those too. Don't ask why. I shouldn't have done it. I'll take all the heat for it. So I definitely, want to get more Pit Bull stands, but I got to make sure that they're going to work for my new booster. And you're going to wonder why am I saying if they'll work? I'm going to tell you here in a second. So when I first decided to order stands, I went online and I went to Cycle Gear and I said, oh man, these are some cool stands that look pretty decent and they got a heck of a price on them, 99 bucks. You can't beat that. So I said, you know what? Let me just get the whole set. So I ordered the whole set, and it was the paddock set. So I said, you know what? These are going to be great. I'm going to put them on my bike, sit the bike up in the garage, so whenever I want to do chain maintenance or clean my wheels or whatever, they're going to be perfect. So I get the stand out the box. Looks great. Looks like great quality. I take the rear stand, and I go put it up under my swing arm. Now, my swing arm is extended in the rear. I have swing arm extensions. Don't come at me. I'm going to get an actual extended swing arm. I didn't put these on there. The dealership did it before I bought the bike. So, but anyway, back to the subject. I put the pads, the actual pads underneath the swing arm, and I, pushed it down and it lifted the bike up. And it's sturdy. I mean, like, I can sit on a bike with no problem. So, got that stand there. So now I go back to the box, get the front stand out. Okay, so I'm rolling the front stand over there to it. I'm about to lift the front of the bike up, and it's gonna be sitting there in all its glory. Problem. It didn't fit my bike. Now there's two reasons why it didn't fit, and we're gonna talk about it. Number one, the stands weren't wide enough. I don't know if these were made for a specific bike that weren't in the description when I bought it, but they just weren't wide enough for the Hayabusa front wheel setup. So I'm trying to maneuver it and go left and go right, and no matter where I moved it, it was always touching the brake roller on both sides. So it wasn't wide enough. So if you thinking about, and I'll go ahead and tell you, they were made by Trackside. Okay, so if you have a Hayabusa, don't get the front trackside stand because it's not going to fit. It's not wide enough for you to even attempt to lift your bike. And number two, now there are certain components on the Hayabusa, seeing as how it has ABS, anti-lock brake system, that will prevent you, even if you could get, squeeze it in there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did try to kind of force it in there and it was kind of sliding in there. But once the pads got close to the fork, I seen that a mechanism from the ABS system would not allow those pads to go up under the forks flush in order to lift the bike up. So regardless, even if it was wide enough, it wasn't gonna be able to get those pads under there to lift up the front end and work like it was supposed to. So now I'm, halfway happy. Half of the stands work, the rear. So, I'm not talking bad about the stands. They just didn't work for my bike. So with the bike weighing 582 pounds and with me weighing 190 pounds, I know that those stands could handle up to 770 some pounds. So it's a good quality rear stand that I have. I'm just not able to use the front stand. So the ABS issue, as well as it not being wide enough for the Hayabusa. So essentially, after waiting, I think it took about a week and a half for the stands to come. I was like, man, now what do I do? So I'm Googling and searching and so forth and so on. And I'm coming across certain stands and I'm like, that may work, but can I do maintenance on my bike? And it was a mess essentially. And I'm still kind of in that mess right now. So then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and get the front head lift stand. So I'm on Pitbull's website, looking at the stands. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, I thought about going with the hybrid front head lift stand, but I said, you know what? I just need the regular front head lift stand. So I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, man, the bar across the top, it goes up pretty high. And you know what? The front of my bike is lowered. I don't think I'm gonna have the clearance for it. Now, I haven't tried it. I didn't order it yet. I wish I knew someone that had one local so that I could try it out to see if it, I had the clearance, because I don't want to put that under there and then it hits the bike or it hits the fender. I seen one guy use a front head lift and he had to actually take his front fender off the bike. And I'm not trying to do that just to sit the bike up. So now I'm in another pickle. Like I don't think I can do the front lift headstand. So now I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? What do I do, guys? It's a struggle. So understand that you have to be careful. Now, if your bike is of stock height, you may be able to do that. But like I said, my bike is lower than the front. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to use that front head lift stand, but we're definitely gonna look into it and find out. And another thing, I've also seen bikes that have front stands where it has it going through the, through the wheel, through the front forks. I haven't found those for the Busa. I've seen them for other bikes out there, but I'm not sure. Maybe they just don't make them for the Busa or what the case is. But if you guys have seen them out there, definitely let me know in the comments below. Now, I've also seen there are several companies out there. They make, and they're, for me, they're new. They make these stands where you can move your bike all around the garage, and you can push it out of the garage, push it up against the wall, or do everything like that. I guess they call them like dolly stands or something like that. I'm like, yo, those would be pretty cool because if I need to move the bike out of the way for something, it'll be real easy. But the only thing with that, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do maintenance on the front tire if I need to. If I need to change out the front brake pads, or if I want to rotate the tire while cleaning it, I don't think that those dolly stands will allow me to do that. And if I'm wrong, please correct me on that. So another pickle, y'all. Another pickle. Because, you know, buying stands is like anything else. You know, you just don't, there's no universal that's going to work for every bike. Now, you may have some that work for 95% of bikes, but you don't have like a universal that says a guaranteed fit for all, because I learned from trial and error, personal experience, you know. So make sure that if you're out there looking for your stands, specifically for the Hayabusa, that number one, you make sure that it is rated to handle the weight of the bike. Gen 3 Hayabusas are 582 pounds. So like with mine, like I said, mine is the one I got now is very sturdy on the back. I can sit on the bike with the bike on the stand, no problems, feel sturdy, stable, and the whole nine. I'm just at a problem with the front stand. And I wanted to make this video to be able to save you the heartache, the I wouldn't say trouble, but, you know, I just wanted to save you the time and money from spending on any kind of trackside stand specifically for the front of your bike if you have a Gen 3 Busa and you get it and it not work. And also, when you're buying stands and you're talking about the rear stand, know that if you have an extended swing arm, you probably gonna want to go with the paddock stand. Now, if you're stock and you have the swing arm spools in there, you can also get the one that, you know, takes the swing arm spools. Actually, mine has both, because I can like unscrew it and flip it around, and then I have the prongs for the swing arm spools to sit in. So make sure that you don't get one with just the swing arm spools or just the paddock. They have them out there for both. So get the one that has both, so you can just flip it around if you need to, because you never know. One day you might want to go and get swing arm spools, and then you can use those on the rear to lift your bike. And when it comes to spending money on these stands, like I said, you know, I think that was probably another mistake I made. I just went for what I found the best deal on. And when I say best deal, almost meant cheapest, really. And I shouldn't have cheaped. I don't cheap out on anything else. I didn't cheap out on buying the bike. So I should have known better, and I should have took my time. They can go anywhere from $150 a set. I've seen them beyond $800, depending on what type of stand, you know, you're looking to get. So make sure that you do your research, and make sure that you get stands that are quality and work for your bike. Because don't assume like I did. You know what happens when we assume. So let me know what type of stands you use for your bike, especially if you have a Gen 3 Hayabusa. Let me know what stands you got, where you got them from, and what you think about them down in the comments below. And for more motorcycle information, education, and Hayabusa specific information, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And as always, ride safe, lock into the channel, keep the rubber side down.